This is going to be a video on trying out electric strings. There are a lot of videos that have been done about this, but this is going to be trying electric strings on an acoustic guitar. Right now I've got my acoustic and I've got number 11 Diodarios, however you say that. And they're acoustic strings. I've always used Diodario. I go between somebody else. How is that pronounced? Somebody, the company even tells you how to pronounce it on the internet. Who cares? I don't have time for that. I'm making a video. So I've always used number 10s, number 11s. I've tried 12s. I've done videos on trying the 12s. I hated them. I couldn't even play with the 12s. I tried a 13. I took it off right away. The 12s, they're just so, they don't even have any high-pitched sounds to them, and I don't like them, and they're too hard to play. I don't know how people play with big strings. So I remember when I went to the guitar store when I first started playing, and I told the guy that I was using number 11s, and he says, "What are you, a girly man? Use big strings, 12s, 13s, 14s." And he was a really older guy, and I went back there about a couple years later, a year later, and asked him about guitar, and he said, "Oh yeah, I'm using number 9s. I'm using 9s on my acoustic because my fingers hurt when I play, and it's all about being able to play, not about being really cool with the big strings and sounding great." And I wanted to call him a girly man, but I didn't. So yeah, I've never really had great finger strength. I don't play good. I play okay. And 11s are really neat for me because I can do finger picking with them. But I did do a video, if you want to check my channel, I did a video comparing the 10s to 11s. And when I closed my eyes and I listened to the recording, I could not tell the difference. I was shocked because I always said, oh, the 11s sound better. I couldn't tell the difference. So I've got 10s here. I just bought some 10s that I'm going to put on. But what I want to try first is I want to try putting on the nickel wound, what are these, Ernie ball? Are these Ernie balls? Famously, Ernie ball Slinkies. So I want to put on a pair of electrics, the nylon wound, and see. They're probably not going to sound good. Maybe they'll sound really tinny. This is my guitar over here. Yes, I'm playing. And I wanted to show you. The reason I like the 11s is because it makes it easier. A lot of people in my videos complain about the length of my nails. When you're doing picking like this, you have to have some nail to grab the string, and I just need a little bit, and with the 11s I'm able to play and do that. With the 10s I have a really hard time. I think it's going to be really bad with the Slinkies on, but here we have, again, it's got a nice rich sound. Oh, whoa, 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 I don't know how to play or sing. Bum, bum. Check out my channel. I just made a video that I'm going to post later tonight. I tore apart a brand new Jackson Slinky or Dinky or whatever it is that I realized I was never going to play. So it's got a nice rich sound. Very easy to do bar chords with, but what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go pop on the Slinky Dinkies, and I'll tell you right off, within a few seconds, I'm going to know if I like it or not. Time to do a restringing, people. If you like my videos, thumbs up, subscribe, like, share. Let's make this channel 100,000 subscribers. Let's make this video go viral. Make me famous. You can help me. Also, check the video description. I'm going to leave a link in there, an Amazon affiliate link for the strings. Time to do the restringing. Here we go. Here we go, people. I'm just going to keep this thing running. I am unscrewing the strings at the, what is it, the headstock? I don't know what the heck that thing is called. I like to do a couple strings at a time. These are brand new strings. I just put these on not even a couple months ago, if that long. Well, I just said not even, so. that's when so what I like to do is I like to do 2 strings at a time, maybe 3 strings, but I don't like to take them all off. I like to keep some tension on the neck. Some people say it doesn't matter. I know a lot of the manufacturers say it doesn't matter, and other people say it matters a lot. So if you get in there with 3 strings, you can clean some of the fretboard if you care about that. I cleaned it last time a little bit. Not a big deal for me. Some people play for forever and never clean them, so. So I think right off I'm gonna know if I like the feel of the strings or not. There it is. We've got the first 3 strings pushed in there. What is it? 46, 36, 26. Like I was telling you, I will know right away if this sounds good or not. Let me get a little bit of the dust off of the stalker over there. Make sure my nuts are tight on the keys, the tuners or whatever those are. Yeah, they feel good enough. If I need to, I'll use an open end. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you how I string these things. So I've got all 3 of these. I'm going to move the camera eye. I lock them. I definitely lock the heads or the strings. I don't know that you need to. I've always done that. And once I put these strings on, they pretty much don't need to be tuned. Hardly at all. Maybe the B string a little bit. But I would say, yeah, it's a little dirty. I would say that once I do that, I really don't have to change it. Problem with doing this when you don't have a long table is this thing hangs over a little bit and it might slide off and break, or it might fall on the floor and then you go, oops, why did I do this? I'm zoomed in about as best as I can since I'm recording this myself. So what I like to do, is this on the can? Okay, yeah, there we are, we're good. We're still on the table. What I like to do is get your holes, line your holes up, not that it matters. Get all your holes so that they're all in line facing this way. So it makes life a little easier for you. And now is the time if you want to get some cleaner and go in there and clean this up. Maybe put a wrench on here, make these a little tight. Don't tighten them too much, but a lot of times they're loose. Dust is flying all over the place around here. It's a dusty place. That's why I'm doing all these changes and cleaning the place up. Whew, there's a lot of dust. Yeah, okay. So what I'll do on this side is I will insert the string. And you want to make sure that you've got it in your, is that showing on the camera? There we go. That's not going to make it so easy now. So you want to make sure it's kind of tight. Are we still showing we're recording? Yeah, we're recording over here. Okay, so that's in. Make sure that when you put the string in the peg, I think it's called the peg, make sure when you put it in there that it's kind of pulled up a little bit and locked in place on the other side so that when you go to do this thing, it doesn't slide up and whoop, you got to adjust it another inch. So we're tight over there. Now some people will say, you measure it by the next tuner. Some people will say you measure it by finger length. What I used to do is I used to go in here and put my hand, I used to put my fingers under here and raise it up like this, and that was the dog just made a noise. And that was how I figured it out. Sometimes that works, sometimes it's way too long. Sometimes you go over here and you say, so if I'm working on this, are you okay? I gave her a bone and she's having a little cough attack right now. Okay, slow down, young lady. She just gets too into her bones. So, good girl. So we're over here and you could go in it and say, pull it up. Well, this is a couple inches. Is that a couple inches? It's about an inch, inch and a half. So you could go over here and I'm putting my fingers underneath the string now. That is way, way, way too much, especially with a thick string. I don't like that. So what I'm going to do, and I know there are pros that work in guitar shops and they can figure this out all the time, every time, and they don't have to do the locking. but now I'm getting a little confused. I'm kind of backwards. I just restrung this last week, or a couple weeks ago. So I'm going to pull this back just a little bit. No, you have to start over here. Start over here. I'll pull this back just a little bit, and since I'm working the big strings, I'm going to go take this and do clockwise, which means to your right. I'm going to do clockwise. I'm going to wrap it underneath, and I'm going to pull it over a little bit. Now, some people would cut it at this point. I don't cut it. And then you go and you start tightening. And what that does, if you can get this, see, it doesn't always look pretty. If you know how to do it, it looks pretty. But if you don't, then it looks kind of weird. It looks nice on the small strings, but not so much on the big strings. And you can see right now that this is locked in place a little bit. So it stops the string from slipping and sliding. But many people don't even mess with this. A lot of pros, they don't screw with this stuff. Let's keep it feeding underneath, obviously. And it doesn't look that great right now. And if you end up with more than 3 winds, you've got way too much on the, which is kind of where I'm at right now. I've got about 2. And also hold the string up. You don't want it to slide inside the nut as you're doing this, because it will wear it away. So I'm at about 2 right now, and the string's kind of, okay. Let's get the tuner. And I like to tune as I go. C, D sharp. Why did that go to F? F sharp, G, A. I don't like that. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I know that this is pretty good. So I'm going to go in here with the cutters and cut it. Make sure you use good cutters, thick cutters, because if you don't, these little pieces, metal shavings can go flying all over the place. Did I cut the right string? You don't want to cut the string that you haven't put in yet. So are we on camera? We're still on camera. Let's go pop this in here. But that length that I put in I've got 2 really nice wraps over here. I'll zoom in after I'm done and show you. And so I'm over here now. So what I could do is I could hold this and move down here, or I could hold this and move down here. But when you've got when you get the big strings, you're going to take up more room obviously, and when you've got the smaller strings, it's not going to wind down as far. So you might end up with 3, 4 wraps. So I'm going to go do about the same thing. I'm going to go right over here, wrap it around, go underneath, turn it, pull back, hold it. I know the camera's not showing what I'm doing now, but sorry. Oh, the string's starting to slip a little bit. Put it back in place. And so what I really should have is one of those little blocks that holds the neck up while I'm doing work. And maybe I'll splurge. You could make them yourself. You could put a book underneath the thing. Do what you need to do. I think I'm going to have way too many winds on this thing. I'm going to have way too many winds on here. How many winds do I have? I'm already at 3. I've got so much extras. I've got way too much. No, this is not good. This is just way too much. And I don't like to do this because then when you bend the string back, you kind of weaken it a little bit and you bend it a little bit. But this is way too much on the string. So I'm going to pull it back. Don't go and unwind the thing. Do it this way. Otherwise, you're going to go put lots of kinks in there, and the thing's going to start to spiral out of control. And you don't want that. So what I'm going to do I'm gonna unwind this a little bit. And where did I put that? I'm gonna just go in another, yeah, this is way too much. I can see it right now. Remember that thing I was talking about? Can you see it? Where I do this thing? This thing's like way, way, way up in the air. I gave it way too much on the stringage. So I'm gonna go wrap, I'm gonna go back, around again. That's like an inch and a half. Yeah, you talk to any women that play guitar and they'll tell you that inch makes a big difference. I'm not thrilled with this, but this is going to work. Locking it in place so everything should be fine. I think I've got a couple wraps on there. The string, when you do this, the string wants to drop downward a little bit, which you don't want it to do. Not the prettiest thing, but I'm at my second wrap now. I'm in my nut. I'm going to tighten it up a little bit. Is the tuner on? Come on. I'm having a hard time with this tuner right now. I don't know why. Mostly because I can't see what I'm doing with the camera and the lighting and the table, and it's just not working out right. E, A, so this should be A. F sharp, G, A. We're almost at A. We're over A. B. Ooh, that string is getting tight. I don't like that. Okay, so we're done. I'm done with this string. I've got about 1.5 wraps. Not the greatest, but it's going to work. So I'm going to do the third string now. We're going to finish the third string off. Then I'm going to go try to tune these in a little bit, get them close before I go do the other side. And when you do the other side, it's backwards. It's completely backwards. Okay, the guitar is pressing against my light stand now. This could be a disaster. So I'm going to do that thing. Let me show you. I want to show you what I'm talking about. So when you have the string, you get your finger like this. I find that if I rest the string underneath and I just put the small finger, the pointer finger, the index finger over here, that's about all the length I need. And so let's check this out right now. Let's check this out. Let's go right over here. And when I drop that down, where does it take me? It takes me about halfway. So, oops. Let's get this one done. We're over here. I'm going to do the finger on the fretboard. That's going to give me enough. Wrap it around to the right, underneath. Wrap it back, pull it over. This is probably going to be the nicest one of all of them. And the string's not so thick now, so it's not as hard to work with. So after this, I'm going to tune in all 3 strings, and then I'll come back. Oops. Oh, almost snapped that. That was way off on the wrong side of the pegs, and not even in the nut. Okay, that's definitely not good. Inside. There we go. Tighten this up a little bit. E, A, D, A sharp, B, C sharp, 2. Okay, let's try this. It's kind of weird it's showing G when it's really supposed to be D. D, A, tune it up a little better. is I had the number 6 string way too tight. Doesn't sound that bad. Let me show you what I do now. Oh, I didn't cut off that string on the number 3. Let me cut off. I've only got about 1.5 wraps on this one. Not good. It should be more, but that's just how it goes. So what I like to do is I like to hold it down over here. I like to put my hand down over here so it doesn't go snapping up. It could cut my hands. And I like to lift up on the string. I like to go all the way to the nut. I like to do that. You really need to be careful when you're doing the smaller strings because they're very sharp, they're very small, and they could cut your finger if you do this the wrong way. So go slow. And now, when I go and I check these, we're almost in tune. That's still over on the E. That almost held the A. D is way, way, way low. D is tuned way too. And so as you do the other strings, you're going to notice that they stretch as you start to pull up more and everything gets out of tune, and you do that a few times and all of a sudden the guitar holds tune. So I've done the first 3. What I want to do, let's see. That's way above. That's way above. That's way above. They're all tuned, except for the E now. They're all tuned sharp. So I want to play this thing really quick, and I can tell you what does it feel like just playing the 3 new strings that are electric, that are nickel. Those are the old ones, and these are the nickel. Kind of sounds flat. Very flat, and these are the old ones, the acoustic strings. So let's try some finger picking. I don't notice much of a difference. How does it sound strumming? You know, if I did this 5 years ago, I probably would have said I don't like it, and now I don't really notice much of a difference. So let me go pop on the other 3 strings. There we go. Sorry about all the cables in the background for the lighting. You definitely want to clean this stuff up, so I use my handy finger for dusting. Check the nuts, make sure your nuts are tight. These are tight. I tightened them before, a few months ago, so they really shouldn't loosen that often. I've got the 3 strings mounted in now, 17, what is it, 17, 13, and 10. I don't know how long I'm going to keep this on for, I really don't. But right for now, it's a good test. It will let me know how I feel about this whole thing. Line your holes up again, or at least line up the hole of the one that you're working on. Okay, so we've got 2 of those done. We'll go for the 3rd one. And these go in the opposite direction, so it's a little, not only do they go opposite, but when you're doing the locking, it's also weird. When I first started doing this, I made a drawing and I wrote down what I needed to do, but now I just do a little thinking, because I don't restring that often. I restring more than most people, but not more than most people. So you want to put your string, I'm doing the number 3. You could do the number 6. It's up to you. Okay, I'm just trying to get positioned right because I've got the camera here. I want you to see what's going on. And the lighting is not as good as it should be. And this is awkward to get in here to make this so you can see what I'm doing. So I've got, so now remember on the other one how I took the string and I went right, under, over, and back. Well, this one you don't go right, you go left. So I'm going to go, well, so you want to get your string into, I've got a lot. I'm not going to move the camera, but at the pin, the string is really riding up on a big curve, on a huge curve. So this string could actually break. I'm looking at this thing now. I wouldn't be surprised if this thing breaks because of the way it's seating in there. I don't like that. But remember, when you have smaller strings, you're going to get more wraps. But I think in this case that might be okay. So what I'm going to do now is I've got this thing pulled as tight as can be. I don't really want to go too far out, but because the string is thinner, so you're going to get more wraps per less length. But I do want to give it some. So I'm going to start over here and I'm going to move down about there. And I'm going to take this and I'm going to, that might be a lot. I'm going to turn it left. I'm going to go left. This is a lot of string. This is a lot of string. I'm going to go left. Ow, this might break. This really could break. I don't like this. I'm going to go left. I'm going to go under. I'm going to lift up over the string and back. Hopefully you saw that. And then I'm going to turn this key left to tighten it. I definitely do not have a lot of string. I might not even get more than one or two wraps on this, but I'm just trying to get this thing done without breaking this string now. It's starting to tighten up. It might go flying out of the pin on the other side because it's just acting kind of weird. I've got it seated in the nut right now. I don't want to mess with that. I don't want to go too much. I'm just going to cut this thing right now and we'll see. Hopefully it works. Hopefully it works. So I don't even have more than about a wrap and a half. Oh, that was close. Now I'm going to go to the number 2 string. I find it's easier to do it this way just so I can move over, but some people might find that you've got more freedom. But as you get over here, when you've got these 2 strings in there, it is kind of, either way. I'm going to give myself a little more room, a little more length on this one. I'm going to go counterclockwise, go to the left. Counterclockwise. Ooh, did that break? No, it didn't break. Okay, so we're underneath the string, which is now wrapped around the, oh my God, it's wrapped around all the other strings. That did not work that good. That's a lot of room. That's a lot of room to tighten. Let's just go with it and we'll see what comes of it. Go to the left, over, under, and then we start tightening. And it's a lot easier to do the lock on the smaller strings because they don't slide on the, they're not so big, so it's a little easier to get it to wrap. I've got this lined up by the nut. I can't really see what I'm doing. Why is that? What is going on here? Did I screw this up? I think I screwed this up. I don't know what I just did. I think I got the number 3 screwed. I'm trying to figure out where the number... I really screwed this up somehow, I think. Did I screw it up? I've got the string wrapped around the number 3. That's the problem. It got caught under the number 3 when I was trying to loosen it. I mean, to tighten it. And I had enough problems with the number 3 string as it is. So, oh my God. Oh my goodness. Hold on, people. There's a serious work going on here. Mess. If you look over here, you can see this string is kinked. Let me turn it more so you can see. See how it's kinked over here? This is probably not safe to keep using. But the string, when I wrapped it around, got caught in there and pulled it on the number 3. But we're gonna keep going. I wish I was one of those people that could listen to this. See, by doing it this way, this way, this way, I would have avoided what just happened here. And whoops, whoops, whoops. But if it happens to you, at least you'll know how to recover. But you definitely don't want to kink that string like that, like I did there. So yeah, I guess I usually do the 6-5-4. All right, well, that's okay. I'll be really careful with it this time. These strings are just so different than the acoustic for me. They're very like thin and awkward. You can see I'm fumbling around all over the place just trying to do this. Okay, let's get back there. Let's pull this string out about over here. I just want to get this done. So I'm going to be really careful grabbing the string this time so it doesn't hook under the adjacent string. Wrapped it. I think that's way too much, but we'll see. Remember on the 6th string, this thing was wobbling around and I had to hold it. On this one, you don't really have to. But because I didn't have to, you saw what happened. It got caught. My vision's not that great for this stuff, so I can't really see how many wraps. Just make sure you're wrapping underneath. You don't want to wrap from the bottom to the top. And I watch these people that tune this stuff by ear, and I'm like, wow, I wish I could do that. How do they do that? All right, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop this thing on here, the little tuner. I'm going to try to get some close tuning in here and see where we're at. E. E is way off now. A is way over, way too sharp. D. D is very sharp. G on the 3rd. F sharp, very close. Way over. Wow, this is so sensitive compared to the B. We're at A sharp. This is incredible. It's much more sensitive in the tuning. I don't know if I like this. E, D, G, B, E. A sharp. B, C, D, D sharp, whoa, the E just popped in. Very sensitive with these electric strings. Very sensitive. It's almost like I've got bad tuners on here because it's so ultra sensitive. Oh, just hit my brand new video lights. Now we're going to tune this thing up. I'm going to show you how I do that stretching again. Let me get the camera to the other side. Almost done, and we'll find out, was this worth it? So what I want to do now is I definitely need to stretch this stuff because it's all, the strings are ultra, or the tuning's ultra sensitive right now. I barely turn the tuner and the thing goes sharp right away. So I want to do some stretching. These feel completely different than the regular acoustic strings I use. I'm worried that these are going to snap. It just feels very thin and brittle compared. These are the Ernie ball custom gauge. It's a 3-pack of 10. Again, if you like my videos, thumbs up, subscribe, like, share, leave a comment, help me out. Okay, so I just did some stretching over there. Let's see what it did. Anything? A, everything's sharp. I don't know why. That's not good. Usually what happens all of these are sharp. Normally what happens when I install strings, not electric strings, is that as I stretch them, I have to tune again until it holds. But with these, I didn't even have to stretch. They're just all sharp. Way, way, way beyond what I want. So I'm going to do stretching on these too. Again, I'm very worried these are just going to snap while I'm doing this. Let's do D, C sharp. The tuning is very, very, extremely sensitive. Normally I would turn the tuners a lot more to lock it in. I barely have to touch this thing. E, A, D, E, A, G sharp, G sharp. We're at A. It just wants to, it tunes a lot faster. E, D sharp. So I'm assuming I'm going to have a lot of problems locking this in before it stops losing tune, if that's possible at all. E, A, E is already sharp. E, A, D, G, F sharp. I don't want you to see my arm over there. How can I do this? E, A, D, G, F sharp. It feels so loose and sloppy. Okay, I didn't say that. Kind of sounds very metallic, like E, A, D, G, B. Barely turning the tuners and all these things just pop in. E, A, D, G, B. E, A, D, lost D already. G, we already lost G. D. G is down, flat. B is flat. E is now flat. Let's do stretching one more time. A big stretch. A big stretch. Oh, that's right. A nice big stretch to start the night. Not sure how long this test is going to last. I'm kind of thinking I'd love to go back to the acoustic strings, but I really want to see if this makes a difference. And one more big stretch on this. Let's see where we're at. D, let's try D. D is locked in where it was before. A is a little flat. And then we're going to do our test. E is flat now. Okay, so we're doing what we want to do. G is very low. B is way, way down. So this is all working now. Normally with acoustic I would do this 3 or 4 times and I'd be done. Like it or not? Wow, this feels like it's going to cut into my left fingers, into my fretting fingers. I can tell you right off, this is much higher pitch. It's more tinny. I don't hear most of the bass that I am used to. Not that that's a bad thing. It sounds good. It does sound good. I'm looking around. Where the heck is the number 1 string? It's not catching on my nail. Finger picking might be rough on this. Let's try the finger picking. That's such a high-pitched sound. I don't know that it's a bad thing. I used to hate this. I don't know that it's so bad. Let's try a D minor. I almost want to say a brittle or a tinny sound, a metallic sound. See, there is no bass at all in there. I don't hear the bass. I hear the bass in here. I hear the bass sound, but it's not a rich bass. Again, I don't know that that's a bad thing. So why did I do this? I did this to see if I would be able to... Are we losing tune? We're already... E is already sharp again. A is sharp. D is okay. G is sharp. B is okay. So 3 of the strings are already sharp after a couple seconds. I'm not sure why. So the main thing was to see, does this make a difference when I am trying to do... I'm trying to do some practicing with lead to see if I can teach myself a little bit. Much easier to play. And again, I can't say if that's because of the 10s. I can only know that when I put on the 10 acoustics. But this is a test to see what it sounds like using electric slinkies on an acoustic guitar. The tuning, very ultra sensitive with the tuners. Barely touch it and the thing is going sharp. Strings are all over the place right now as far as locking in the strings are locked in, and they're, I don't know why this keeps going, why it keeps going sharp. E, A, let's bring that back a little bit. D. Yeah, the tuners are just going nuts. Just a fraction of a touch and it's either sharp or flat. Again, I'm going to try with the strumming. You know, it's not that bad as far as sound. It really is not that bad. I'm surprised. I like the bass sound. I don't like deep bass like the number 12 strings. This is very high pitched. Maybe my hearing's going bad and I can only hear the higher pitches now. But this doesn't sound bad at all. Wow, I'm a little unsure how to feel right now because this is so easy to play. It sounds really good. Let's try a bar chord. I'm speechless here. One last thing I want to try. I always have a hard time doing the bar chord on the E, on the A fingering with doing the 3 fingers over here. Let's see if I can even do that because I can't with the acoustics. And that might be because I'm using number 11 strings. But let's see, can I even get a decent chord out of this? Yeah. I just bought number 10 string D'Addario acoustics, and I'm thinking, do I really need those, or should I be going to electric on here? Boy, does that dig into the fingers. Look at that, it really digs into the fingers. And so the strings are definitely sharp. Let me try my I have to say I might be going from acoustic strings to electric strings on my guitar. Because the ease of play is incredible. Not that number 10 D'Addario acoustics would not make this equivalent, but I will say right now, if you were having a problem strumming or fingering your guitar, try putting some electric Slinkies on there or whatever brand you want and see how it works. The sound isn't really that bad. I'm surprised. I thought it would be really bad because I've done something like this before and it was terrible, but I'm just shocked, totally shocked. One more thing I want to try. I am not really good with a pick, and I'm trying to teach myself to play with the pick a little better. Let's see, how does it work with the pick? The problem I'm having is I'm so used to number 11s that when I switch to a number 10, I just get all mixed up because the feel of the gauge of the string is, I notice it, and when I'm trying to pick, I'm like, where the heck is that string? It sounds good. It hurts the fretting finger unbelievably. It is sharp. Oh my goodness, listen to this. Fingers. Yeah, so I like this. I'm going to work with this for a while. I really think you should try it also. If you're a pro, then you're not going to mess with stuff like this. It's only for us wusses that are just trying to learn and trying to find ways to get better. You might find that putting some electrics on the acoustic makes it easier for you. It's just definitely going to hurt your fingers, the fretting fingers, for a while. It's nothing like playing on an acoustic string guitar, or acoustic strings on the acoustic guitar. But if this video helped, even if the video didn't help, click on the links in my video description. Help me out. They're affiliate links. And subscribe, and make sure you watch all my other awesome stuff that I post. There is the range, the bass range is totally, doesn't seem like it's even there, but the treble range doesn't sound as annoying as the treble range of the acoustic strings. So I would say these are definitely flatter. Maybe the word is these aren't rich. They definitely are not rich. And they're flat. Ow, my left finger is so sore. My left finger's. Yeah, it's worth a try. Thanks for watching, everybody. Sorry the video was so long.